Sorry about that to everybody who was watching me on my laptop, but the laptop was again being a pain. So I switched over to my cell phone. So we're gonna give it a few minutes. We're gonna see who joins us. And honestly, I may just keep doing the live streams from my phone from now on with the external wireless mic because until I can figure out why my computer is being the way it's being, may just keep doing here. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining me on the former stream. We're going to give it a few minutes. We're going to see who jumps onto this one, and then we're going to chat about Pink Shirt Day. So jump in the chat, say hello, let me know you made it over to this one. I'm going to do the poll question once again. I hope that you guys will, when you jump back on here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, let me know what it is that you want to talk about. The first hour or so, like I say, is always spent just waiting for people to join, and then we switch over to actual discussions. Today's discussion is on Pink Shirt Day. Spirit of Justice brought up something really interesting. He said he had been bullied as a child for wearing, or bullied as a kid for wearing pink shirt, which is actually kind of the impetus for Pink Shirt Day and where it comes from. So we're going to talk about that. And also ways that Freemasons can potentially support anti-bullying efforts. So welcome. If you're just joining us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, answer the poll question. Let me know if you came over from our other stream. I'm hoping this one is a lot better and doesn't have the buffering issues that it was experiencing. And let me know what it is that you guys want to chat about. Again, I do these every day, Monday through Friday. We talk about Freemasonry, different subjects and topics we bring up. Brandon Wren, there we go. Definitely look into Streamlabs or Prism because your stream will be live looking like it was on the other stream. From a viewer's point, I prefer the other view. Chat covers everything. So I go back and forth on it, but I agree 100%. I kind of prefer the other stream too. So I'm going to look into Prism. Welcome, everybody who's joining us. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're here today to chat about Freemasonry. I do this every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Today, specifically, we're going to talk about Pink Shirt Day, what it is, why I got my pink shirt on, how it works, and how Freemasons and Freemasonry can potentially support anti-bullying efforts. Dark Pixel, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. We do this every day. We chat about Freemasonry and different aspects of the craft. So Dark Pixel, let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. If you are a Freemason, maybe you want to let me know kind of what your journey is like. If you're not a Freemason, maybe you have questions about it. I can do my best to answer them. I've been a Mason since 2007. I don't know everything, but there are some things I know, or at least I can try to talk to you about my perspectives on the craft, why I love it, and why I think it's helpful and good for the world. Actually, I found a pink shirt. Awesome. I'm glad you found the pink shirt, Brandon. There you go. So you and I are rocking out the pink together. Once again, as a big fan of Bret the Hitman Hart, I love the color pink. It's always been my favorite color. Actually, on my most recent tattoo, or not my second most recent tattoo, you'll notice I got the pink square and compasses on there. So welcome to everybody who's joining us. Once again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Anything you want to talk about as it relates to Freemasonry, Pickles. Bro, I live in Georgia, the country. I think there's Freemasonry in Georgia, the country. I'm not positive, but there is Freemasonry in many Eastern European countries. Um, but that's very, very cool. I don't think I've ever had anybody on the stream from Georgia before, so welcome. Pickles, do you think we can go to Burger King and get a Whopper together? Sorry, Pickles. I appreciate you being here. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button, but I'm not a fan of Burger King. I'm a fan of McDonald's. I should be a fan of KFC and Wendy's because both of those were founded by Freemasons, um, as was Tim Hortons. So, but sorry, we cannot go to Burger King and get a Whopper together, but I appreciate the offer. And even though I said no to that, I still hope you'll hit the like and subscribe button. I live in the village Guria. The snow is 12 meters and I can't. Jeez. I'm from Canada. I thought we had a lot of snow. 12 meters is incredible. So don't worry about Freemasonry now. Just stay warm. Freemasonry will be there when the snow melts. What is Freemasonry? Pickles. Freemasonry is an umbrella term that refers to groups and organizations that trace their origin to the stonemason guilds in Europe of the Middle Ages. Um, the typical Masonic group that most people think of is a fraternity that was founded in 1717. Though there is Freemasonry for women, there is also Freemasonry for youth. That is a very, very simple answer. The simplest answer I can give you is Freemasonry is a fraternal organization, of which I'm a member. People from the city Kudazai, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, um, are coming to help us. If you have 12 meters of snow, you need the help. So, you know, God bless you guys and hope everybody's staying safe. I can only imagine. They do walkaway stonework. Mine needs to be replaced. So no, we are evolved from or originated from stonemasons, but Freemasonry is a social civic group, not the trade unions. Having said that, you know, our origins are from the um, our origins relate to the trade unions of the past, but for heaven's sakes, I cannot help you at all, Pickles. I'm the worst person to try to build anything or fix anything. You deserve more fans. I appreciate that very much. I do appreciate, though, the fans that I do have, and I feel lucky to have them. But I always am looking for more fans. I'm also looking for more patrons. So if anyone wants to be a patron, I'd appreciate that as well. Um, and actually, so the Patreon stream is patreon.com/square and compass, and I am going to be doing some more Patreon work in the um, coming days, including streams specifically for those who are patron members, both at the paid levels and at the individual levels. Reformation of the Catholic Church is where it goes back. So, not to my knowledge, unless there's something, and again, I don't know everything, I don't claim to know everything, but unless there's something I'm mistaken about, right? The Reformation of the Catholic Church, it was in what, 1545? The earliest example we have of Freemasons, of speculative Masons, would be 1623. So they were around the same time-ish, but they were kind of a different aspect. I don't believe, I mean, obviously the Catholic Church has had its negative views of Freemasonry for different reasons. There was a lot of Freemasons who were themselves connected to politics at the time, but I'm not sure to what extent the two are connected. I'm actually curious about that. I'm going to look that up quickly to see. Freemasonry and Reformation Catholic Church. The Catholic Church has been a strong critic of Freemasonry since 1738. I knew that. Um, but anyways, yeah, they found an 86-year-old grandma burned in the snow and she was found dead. I'm very sorry to hear that. It sucks. So get better, or I shouldn't say get better, but take care of yourself, be safe, and I very much hope that the city that is coming to rescue you from the coup d'etat are able to do so. But thank you, Pickles. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, everybody who's here, as well as everybody who has subscribed. Truly appreciated. Usually it takes about half an hour for people to start showing up, and then we're going to start talking about Pink Shirt Day. I'm not sure, Spirit, if you're there, but I think it was you who brought up the idea of being bullied for a pink shirt, which is very, very interesting connection. Have you ever played Hello Neighbor? I'm not sure what that is. Well, the secrets of the reforming the church, you won't find it because Freemasonry started after, but it was connected from the secret societies before before them and before them. I get what you're saying. Certainly, the idea of a secret society isn't new. Um, I mean, you can take it all the way back to the sects of ancient Rome, Greece, Egypt, the idea of sub rosa, things being under the rose, which meant private. Um, there's always been a tendency for humans and people to form and develop um, secret societies for different reasons. Um, Aristotle once said, man is a political animal, and he didn't mean man is a political animal in the sense of man is Republican or Democratic or anything like that. What he meant is man has a tendency to form groups and rules and structures in those groups, including sometimes rules around secrecy. It hasn't stopped snowing for 1 month. That is crazy. That is absolutely nuts. So once again, I hope everybody is as safe as you can be. Exactly, Roman text of the Bible story. Well, I mean, much of the Bible, like the New Testament, I believe takes place during Roman history and Roman times. So I think much of it was written in Latin, if I'm not mistaken, Latin, Greek, and Hebrew. But I could be incorrect because once again, I am not a biblical scholar by any means. Um, my mom's favorite color and support for breast cancer. Absolutely. The pink is a lot of different valuable colors, including for breast cancer awareness. Broad year of research on a great range of cultural aspects, including state institution, law, values, religious beliefs, technological advances, engineering, and language. Um, are you saying the Bible had broad geographical reach on a great range of cultural aspects? Because certainly I think that's true. I think when it comes to what are the most influential or what books or works have the greatest reach, I'd say the Bible has to be near the top of the list. Um, or if not, maybe the top of the list in terms of books that have I mean, you could say the Bible's not even a book, it's more like a library, it's a collection of stories and books, but you could say it is the most influential and far-reaching book. Are you wearing anything for Pink Shirt Day? Looks like 3 no's and 2 yeses. Language is the most important of the word. Well, certainly, I think if you're talking about just from a human perspective, I think it's hard to argue that language is not the thing that most clearly separates us from other species and is the most important to our development, our ability to make abstractions, our ability to form rituals and ritual and what that means, our ability to um, plan and communicate, etc., all that stuff is, and not even spoken language, writing, braille, sign language, all of that stuff is a pretty amazing. It demonstrates how amazing people are. I think our capacity for language, our capacity for ritual, and even our capacity for Masonic language, Masonic ritual. Can I tell you? I mean, sure, you're more than welcome to Dark Pixel. I'm always happy to have people sharing what they love in the chat. I will make it just give the statement, though most people know this. Right, to be a Freemason, you must believe in a supreme being, but whatever that supreme being is between you and your beliefs. So we have, for example, brethren who are um, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, First Nations, um, as well as First Nations, as well as Wiccan. We've even had. So there are many Freemasons who could and do much better than me list off and name Bible verses, but there are also many who could be able to list verses from the Quran, from the Torah, or be able to recite First Nations teachings. Having said that, thank you to everybody who's joined us so far. Please, if you're just joining us, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what it is that you guys want to chat about. We usually spend the first hour or so just talking before we switch and start talking specifically about Freemasonry and my particular topic, which I picked, which today is Pink Shirt Day. And yes, Pink Shirt Day does come from Canada. Nova Scotia in particular. Romans 15:13. May God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Is that, out of curiosity, Dark Pixel, your favorite Bible quote, or do you have a particular favorite? And also, you can let me know in the chat maybe what your thoughts are as it relates to that quote and why you picked that one as the first one. Brandon Wren, beautiful. I'd agree, and I do appreciate you sharing it. Once again, though, anybody of any faith, if you want to share some of your favorite teachings or favorite passages from your faith, from the volume of the Sacred Law, you are absolutely more than welcome to. And to everybody watching this, once again, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. We are here to chat about Freemasonry. If you like Freemasonry or you are a Freemason, you can maybe put in the chat information about your Masonic journey. If you're not a fan of Freemasonry, that's cool too. Let me know why maybe you're not a fan of it, and maybe I can get you to reconsider that a little bit. And thank you to everybody who's become a member of the Patreon, including you, Brandon. Thank you so much. We're going to be having some special Patreon events in the coming weeks and months, and I will keep you guys informed of those very shortly. So if you are a patron, pay attention to the posts, because I do a lot of member only or patron only posts. And thank you everybody who hit the subscribe button. If you are having trouble commenting or anything like that, let me know. Ephesians 3:20, now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power, this is at work within us. Another great quote. Thank you for sharing. Well, do Freemasons believe in reincarnation? I mean, so the thing is, there is no specific Masonic doctrine of belief, right? So it'd be like asking, do Freemasons believe in Jesus? Do Freemasons believe in Allah, whatever it is? There is no specific Masonic doctrine. So there are some Masons, I'm sure, who believe in reincarnation. I could be wrong, but to my knowledge, reincarnation is part of the Hindu faith, I believe. Though if I'm wrong, please let me know. We do have Hindu Freemasons, but I'm sure there are Freemasons who believe in reincarnation. It's just not something I've ever spoken any about. So yes, Freemasons come from all walks of religions, as Tomac says. And Tomac, thank you so much for being here. I truly do appreciate it. No, no, we have Christians as well, Brandon. We have Freemasons who are Christian of all the different types and sects, Protestant, Catholic, Anglican, non-denominational. So we do have, I would say in my experience, from where I'm from, the majority of Freemasons are Christian, but that's just in my area because the majority of people here are Christian, or at least culturally Christian. Like if you were to ask them if you had to make them pick the religion, they would kind of go with that. But we have of all faiths, and in other areas we have members of other faiths. Dark Pixel, of course it's okay. That's awesome. I'm yeah, it, it is very, very okay if you are Christian. I think that's great, and it seems like you are very of your about your faith, right? You've shared with us two Bible verses, which is awesome. If you're asking if it's okay to be Christian and be a Freemason, then absolutely, it's okay. Um, it's absolutely okay. So to be a Freemason, you have to believe in a supreme being. So certainly, if you're a Christian, you would believe in a supreme being. To my understanding, not an expert on the Bible or anything like that, or religions, but you would believe the supreme being is God through the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So you would, yeah, it'd be we have, like I said, it's certainly okay to be a Christian and a Freemason. Um, in terms of Jehovah's Witnesses, same thing. They believe in a supreme being. They could join. I'm sure there are Jehovah's Witnesses Freemasons, none of which I'm aware, but I don't know how many Jehovah's Witnesses are in my area, anyways, that would have the chance to join. Right? It goes by population. In places where you have a high Muslim population, you have a high Muslim Freemason percentage. Right? It just kind of goes by where you live and what type of faiths are represented in your area. I believe that Jesus will return. I also, I guess, hope he doesn't kill us. So, Brandon, reincarnation of Jesus. Yeah, so in terms of the reincarnation of Jesus, absolutely, there are many Freemasons who believe that, again, because they believe in a supreme being, and so they believe in the word of the Bible. So I hope it doesn't kill us with the sword. I believe in the judgment day. Dark, you will in a second come and repent. I believe in the sword as well. I mean, I guess what I'd say is we will see. I do believe in a supreme being. I'm not one who necessarily believes in the Christian faith per se, but I do believe in a supreme being. And if nothing else, kind of my hope is that the supreme being um, favors goodness and hopes we act in a way toward each other that is good and kind. And that's what I try to do. That's the best I can do. But I know for many others, they have specific beliefs about different faiths. And for all I know, the Christian faith may be the 100% correct, in which case I guess we'll see. Um, but I do hope I'm not judged too harshly, despite the fact that I have made many, many mistakes. And have no doubt will make many, many more. Are you wearing anything pink for Pink Shirt Day? Yes, 29%. No, 43%. What's Pink Shirt Day? 29%. So looks like um, 3, 2, and 2, I think. Okay, and I'll be telling what Pink Shirt Day is soon. Michelle Khan, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining once again. It's great to have you back. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and jump in the chat. Were you anything pink for Pink Shirt Day? Yes, 25%. So it looks like 2 yeses, 3 nos, and 3 what's Pink Shirt Day. So I look forward to being able to tell you guys what it is and how it works, or the purpose. Lone Strauss? Yo, thank you so much for being here, Lone Strauss. I hope you will be so kind as hit the like and subscribe button and let me know how it's going. We do these streams every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about Freemasonry. So jump in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions about it, any thoughts on it. If you are a Freemason, Today we're talking about Pink Shirt Day because I think Freemasonry has many opportunities to support anti-bullying efforts and tolerance and kindness and all those wonderful things. Um, so let me know in the meantime. Hit the like and subscribe button. Ask me some questions about Freemasonry. I usually spend the first hour just talking in general about Freemasonry and answering questions before we get into our main subject. I'm not wearing anything. Well, Lonstrous, good for you. It's good to see a confident person out there. I love Jesus and even my enemies because God said, "Love your enemies." He did, I think. So I'm not a religious scholar, so I feel like I'm biting off way more than I can chew with this. But I will say, based on my limited knowledge, I do think the idea of loving your enemy is maybe the most valuable teaching in the Christian faith or Christianity. It's certainly a teaching I struggle with, but it's a very valuable one. I do think it was revolutionary for its time. Certainly, I don't think groups before that or beliefs before that included the loving of one's enemy. Um, LOL, sorry for that. Well, it's always fun to spice up the chat a little bit, so. But Lonstrous, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. By all means, let me know how you came across our stream. Did it just show up? Do you follow us on social media? And do you have any questions about Freemasonry? Dark Pixel, I'm Freemason. Awesome. I've been a Freemason myself since 2007. I don't claim to know everything about it, but I love talking about it. My favorite thing to talk about is Freemasonry. I do this every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Yes, pink means anti-bullying. I'm going to start talking more about the origin of the Pink Shirt Day, what it is, where it came from, and how maybe Freemasons can become involved in it and support it. Yep, it just showed up. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what Freemasonry is. Rondo is back. Welcome, Rondo, suggested by the algo. Well, thank you, algorithm. Keep your enemies close and they will soon become your friends. With friends like these, who needs enemies, right? Lonstrous. So, Freemasonry. The simple and short answer is Freemasonry is a fraternal organization which traces its roots back to the Masonic guilds, stonemasons of the Middle Ages. Um, for me, when I define Freemasonry now, I define Freemasonry is an umbrella term that refers to various groups and orders that trace their origins to the stonemason guilds of Europe from about the 15th century to the 17th century. Pink also means Breast Cancer Day. It does. So pink has a couple different meanings. And as someone who lost mom to cancer, I appreciate pink for that as well and to support cancer research because fuck cancer. But today, pink is anti-bullying, but pink can mean a couple different things. Pink also means Bret the Hitman Hart, greatest professional wrestler of all time. Or second greatest being John Cena. So Lonstrous, I hope that kind of answered your question. Like I said, it is a fraternity first and foremost, and that is to me the simplest way to kind of think about it. Um, we have meetings every we have various meetings monthly sometimes every few months. But as a fraternity, right, it's about supporting each other and supporting the community. I was grandfathered in, just don't know how to reclaim it and carrying on with the craft. I'm not sure what you mean, Brandon, by grandfathered in. Tomac, I research a lot of esoteric philosophy like Kabbalah in Judaism, Sufism in Islam, and Tantra in Hinduism. Very interesting reads. I would love to read more about that stuff. May I suggest, Tomac, though you may have already read him, Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma, maybe something you want to search in terms of Masonic philosophy. Or I think you may have told me you already read him. Interestingly, I did a podcast about the Kabbalah, Judaism, and its connections to Freemasonry, or not even connections, but the analogs between the two. That was a lot of fun. Outside of these live streams, I do post regularly. Every Sunday, I try to do another pre-recorded interview This Sunday, Tomac, it's my interview with Stoic Dan. We talk about Stoicism, and that may be something that you find interesting in terms of philosophy and the connection between Stoicism and Freemasonry. 10 votes. Are you wearing anything for Pink Shirt Day? Anything pink? Yes, 20%. No, 40%. What's Pink Shirt Day? 40%. I'll tell you guys soon. I promise. So it looks like it's about 4, 4, and 2. Um, Welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Jump in the chat. Ask me questions about Freemasonry. That's what we're here to talk about every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hey, dude, read what I said. Sorry, I may have missed what you said. Sorry, there's a lot of the chat going on. I try to keep up with everybody, but please forgive me if I do miss something that you said. I do apologize. Remember, forgive others. If you don't, God won't forgive you. Very good advice. I'm the first to admit I do sometimes struggle with forgiving, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be more sanguine about things, including being willing to forgive people. So it's on my list of things I want to do. And it's good advice. Isn't it ironic that the Islamic religion was founded after Christianity? I'm not sure if it was ironic. I mean, like from my Muslim friends and Muslim brothers, what I do understand is that they do believe in Jesus as being a prophet and as being resurrected, but they don't believe he was the son of God. But I could be getting that completely mixed up. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the chat if you know anything about that stuff. Hello and good afternoon. Raised eyebrow, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Dark Pixel, I'm going to pray. Well, please, if you can, keep me in your prayers. I would very much appreciate it. Heaven knows I need all the help I can get. I'm not being sarcastic either. I really could use some help. What are your rituals based on? Or Rondo's Ellsworth, no, you're right. Um, so when you say based on, they're based on a lot of different influences. So when Freemasonry was officially, so right off the top, it's our rituals are based on allegory and based on symbolism. And the symbols and allegories that are used are first and foremost those connected to stone masonry and stone Masonic practices. So for example, we have in our rituals, we talk about tools. We have different degrees, a first degree, second degree, third degree. And each degree has associated with it different tools. And these tools are what would have been used and are still used today by stonemasons to work on stone and build things with stone. And we apply them metaphorically to ourselves. So one tool I can talk about because it's on our symbol, the square, right? You see the symbol all the time, the square and compasses. For us, the square, a stonemason uses a square to make sure an angle is 90 degrees and a stone is cut at 90 degrees. For Freemasons, we'll use a square for ourselves to make sure our conduct is square. We're acting otherwise moral or correct. So that is where the rituals initially were based on. As rituals developed and grew more and more, certain other elements came into it. Egypt and Egyptology was incredibly popular in the 1700s when the Masonic rituals were being developed. And so many Egyptian philosophical ideas came into play. Some people, Preston and Webb, who wrote a lot of our rituals, as well as Albert Pike, were big on the calming and civilizing influence of education. And they really put a lot of emphasis on education and its points of lifelong learning. I hope that answered your question about what our rituals are based on. At the start, stone masonry, Masonic tools, stone Masonic practices, and then applying those metaphorically to ourselves. As we continue to develop them, more in terms of ancient Egypt and its importance and lifelong education, and then basically just many Masonic authors who were popular in the craft as we needed to develop rituals to advance and to create those shared experiences. If you were popular enough and important enough in the craft, you would create rituals and submit those, I mean, to then be performed. And again, stonemasonry, ancient Egypt, education were the three big ones. And then esoteric philosophies kind of work their way in. I hope that makes sense. I hope God sees you like a diamond. Thank you so much. Raised eyebrow. In my religious tradition, there's a time when we approach folks who may have wronged and ask them for forgiveness. When I took that seriously, my friends thought I was going to delete myself. I'm happy. First of all, I'm very happy that's not what you were thinking. And I hope you don't ever think about that, because raised eyebrow, the world is better with you in it. I mean, like, to everybody watching this, the world is better with you in it. Um, and I don't know what that's called, but that is, if I'm not mistaken, raised eyebrow, part of the Jewish faith, I believe, the contacting people and requesting forgiveness, because I believe a friend of mine told me about that once. I could be mistaken. Maybe there are other faiths. Okay, so yeah, I was right. Because I do believe I have a friend who's Jewish who told me about that tradition, and I think personally it's a wonderful tradition. Dark Pixel, thank you for your prayers. I truly do appreciate it, and I did see it. Dark Pixel, I hope God sees you like a diamond. I would hope that as well for everybody watching this. So, Tomac, I hope I answered your question in terms of what our rituals are based on. Let me know if I did or if I didn't, and if you want more clarification. We're going to wait another maybe 20 minutes and then start talking specifically about Pink Shirt Day. Again, what it is and how maybe Freemasons and Masonic lodges can incorporate Pink Shirt Day, or just more anti-bullying in general. Please, in the meantime, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Um, I never thought about self-deletion. Good. But my friends were taken aback by my honesty and having a serious conversation with them. It's not so common, I guess. I mean, maybe the world would be a better place if it was more common, right? I think you can make that argument that being willing to approach people honestly and directly and ask them for forgiveness, maybe the world would be a better place if more of us did that, or more of us were willing to do that. I think it's unfortunate maybe that sometimes it can be hard to ask for forgiveness. Maybe that's why, from the Jewish faith, they started that, I don't know what the word is, tradition, because they knew even in ancient times it was hard for people to ask directly for forgiveness. So you make it a tradition and almost a requirement of the faith. You're more than likely going to be able to encourage people to take that maybe very necessary step, which could be it for all I know. And if that is what they were thinking, um, then they made a very good idea. A funny question: do you guys have Solomon's ring? I'm not sure. So we have Masonic rings. Solomon, King Solomon, was a very, or is, I should say, a very important part of our Masonic rituals, because again, being derived or evolved from the stone masons of the Middle Ages, right? When we were developing our rituals or basing our rituals, one thing we base them off of metaphorically is not just stone masonry, but famous examples of Masonic works, stone Masonic works, such as King Solomon's Temple, pyramids, etc., etc. So King Solomon does come up a lot in our rituals. I'm actually trying to get on my podcast a biblical scholar to talk about King Solomon from a biblical context, because I think he's so important. Um, so I'm working on that. But I do not know of I think what you're talking about is the Seal of Solomon. I do not know of any Freemason who has the Seal of Solomon hidden somewhere. If I do, I give you my word, I will post it on the internet for all to see to get more people watching me. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know anybody. I didn't even know what the Seal of Solomon was. I looked it up. Um, so I know of no Freemasons who have the Seal of Solomon. Um, This is interesting. I think maybe folks assume forgiveness. No news is good news, but I don't own it and have a difficult conversation about it. This is what I get for studying. Hey, social anthropology. Honestly, I want to talk at some point to a social anthropologist about Freemasonry because I think there's potentially some really fascinating ideas between society, the reason that people join things like Freemasonry and the importance of Freemasonry in societies. Dark Pixel, um, I accidentally scrolled. Well, so then don't, I need bleach for my eyes. So then don't scroll, Dark Pixel. Just stay here. Because it seems like when you scroll, you come across interesting things, put it that way. You come across very interesting things. So stay here with us where you're safe and you're not going to need bleach for your eyes. Um, Another 10 minutes, and I'm going to start talking about Pink Shirt Day. Thank you, everybody who's joined so far. It is truly appreciated. Let me know how it's going, and again, what it is that you want to chat about. We got 10. Oh, from listening to you talk in the past, I think a lot of your assessments align with general social anthropological ideas. I'm glad to hear it. I hope. Actually, interestingly, I took anthropology in my undergrad. I went to law school for my grad, but undergrad I took social, took anthropology. We had to take all four courses. We had to take social anthropology, linguistics, archaeology, and physical anthropology. But I always focused on archaeology. That was my um, that was my bag. I actually did a archaeological dig in Lauder, Manitoba, which was really fun. Um, so I loved archaeology. What if Jesus comes back then? Will he kill us? I don't think so. I I hope not. Um, I mean, I don't know enough about it. Dark, are you here to troll? I don't think he's here to troll. It seems like he just has very specific questions about, or even maybe love for Christianity and for his faith, which is great to see. Again, it's not something I know a ton about, so I can only give my opinions on it. And I can only say in general, right, that Freemasonry, again, welcomes men of all faiths and beliefs. But you have to know, and student in Texas doesn't even know this. Well, so you're not wrong. A lot of people may not know, a lot of Masons may not understand certain things. And again, what I would say, and I've said this many times, so forgive me for chewing my food twice. Um, if if you're just joining Freemasonry, it can become you can kind of become this tendency to want to learn everything you can about the craft and learn about King Solomon and Solomon's Temple and read Freemasonry for Dummies, read Morals and Dogma, etc., etc. At the start of Freemasonry and your Masonic journey, really the most important thing is just, do you enjoy the people you're around? That's what matters the most, I think. Do you enjoy um, do you enjoy having people? Do you enjoy the people you're going to be sitting in lodge with? That's the most important thing, um, I think, to talk about or to think about. Do you enjoy the people you're going to be hanging out with, as opposed to the esoteric stuff? The esoteric stuff, once you join, that's when you start to learn more about it. But at the start, do you enjoy the company of your brothers or of your potential brothers? Sorry, Courtney, I must have missed your questions. Please forgive me for that. What are your opinion on other orders? As a Freemason, are you allowed to be a member of other orders outside the craft? Rondo, yes, but you don't bring it up. So I would need to know more about the orders to which you refer. I mean, so Freemasonry, I mean, it can't control your life at all. To the extent that it has any control over you, it would be during a lodge meeting when when you attend a lodge meeting, you're expected to abide by votes of the lodge and not be a jerk and act like you act in a professional manner, basically, right? Even though Freemasonry is not a professional organization, it's a civic one. You're still expected to act and conduct yourself in a professional manner. But once you leave, you can join any other group organization you want. We have, in the case of the Odd Fellows, many examples of um, Freemasons who are Oddfellows. In fact, Oddfellows was kind of a Masonic group for a little bit, kind of a Masonic affiliated group for many years. It still kind of is. If the order, and Rosicrucianism is another one that many people join. So Freemasons are able to join kind of any other orders that they want, and they can kind of bring it up. Um, if they so desire. They wouldn't necessarily be stopped. There does become some issues when you get into clandestine lodges. My opinion, I speak only for myself, exclusively for myself. If somebody joins a clandestine lodge and then wants to join a Masonic lodge, I am fine with them doing so, so long as they're willing to start at the beginning, at the entered apprentice degree, and understand that they're not able to discuss anything that happens in a Masonic lodge in the clandestine lodge. And vice versa. I don't want them in the clandestine talking about their clandestine stuff in my Masonic lodge, right? But others do view it as you're not allowed to do both. So, um, but as a rule, you can join other groups. And there was actually funny in the 1920s, and again, forgive me for chewing my food twice, but in the 1920s, there was a tendency, there was this derisive term for men who joined a million orders, and it was called Barry the Joiner. And it was like he would be a Mason, an Oddfellow, a Moose, an Elk, a Rotary Club member, a member of the Odd Fellows, PTA, and the joke was like you'd see him in his car or whatever it is, and he'd have like a million different bumper stickers or whatever on it of all these different groups. And he was called Barry the Joiner because in the 20s, joining groups was considered the thing to do, and you had millions of people in America joining every group they could join. Sometimes out of genuine desire to join, sometimes out of a desire for social cohesion, sometimes out of a desire to become a new um, mayor of a town. They would join the political parties as well, bury the joiners. So yeah, you can join any organization you want, any political party you want, etc. Um, Again, so long as it's, when it gets clandestine lodges, that becomes a question. Or if it's an illegal group, that would obviously become a problem. So if, for example, I were to discover that a member of my lodge was a member of, let's say, the Nazi Party or the Ku Klux Klan, I may not want him to remain a member of the Freemasons. And I may suggest he remove himself from the lodge. Um, but technically, I wouldn't be able to force him out. I suppose I'd have to bring him up Masonic charges or something. I have a Dark Pixel. I got to go by. Thank you for being here so much. I truly appreciate it, Dark Pixel. Thank you. I have a family friend who joins every Masonic organization. I don't even think there's room for his license plate on the back of his car with all the emblems he has. Not surprised. Believe me, there's been many of those. Never eats dinner at home. That's the running gag, right? Never has to buy food. Cameron, there are new members that are seeking, so it's understandable, bless your heart. So I want to bring my swords out. Well, don't bring the swords out too much, right? Um, right? Because I used to be a fencer, so maybe we'll have a sword fight. Still at 10 votes. Are you wearing anything pink for Pink Shirt Day? Looks like 4 no, 4 what's Pink Shirt Day, 2 yeses. People are asking what's Pink Shirt Day. You're going to find out in exactly 5 minutes. In the meantime, though, let's give it a bit of time, see who else joins and who else wants to chat about Freemasonry. And thank you for all the questions we've got so far. It's been awesome. If you're just joining us, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know what it is that you want to talk about. If you get the chance, check out our Patreon page. It would be great to have you guys become members of the Patreon. You can become a member for free if you'd like, or you can pay up to $3 a month and you'll get some special swag, including some special correspondence, all that good stuff, which will be coming out next month. So I'm going to give it 5 more minutes, see who else joins, and like I said, we're going to start talking specifically about Pink Shirt Day. And if you get the chance, patreon.com/square and compass, where helps me support and do all of these things I love doing. And if there is, in the meantime, any other questions that you've got, again, if I've never been a Freemason before or you don't know anything about it, then hopefully I can try to answer your questions as best I can. If you have been a Freemason, maybe you've been around for a little while, but you have questions or comments or anything about your Masonic journey, then let me know that as well. But I think maybe what I will do actually is, maybe I will start with the Pink Shirt Day stuff now. I'm curious to witness a sword fight. Well, so for me, I did fencing in my wheelchair. And so wheelchair fencing, they're in the same space. They don't move. The wheelchairs are locked in and then they fence, from a seated position. It was never quite exciting as, say, Princess Bride, which is a great movie, by the way. But I heard the Grand Lodge of Texas. I heard that too. I think a lot of Grand Lodges, Courtney, are going towards electronic dues cards, which I think personally I like, but I do have to admit, I've always really liked having my physical dues cards as well, because they make such good keepsakes. Like, one suggestion I always make to new members is get a photo album, use it to keep Masonic pictures, but also keep your old dues cards. They're a great example of souvenirs and mementos of your Masonic journey. And I've got all my old dues cards in a photo album. Well, I mean, most petitions nowadays are electronic anyways, right? Most people are filling out petitions online and sending them in through email. They can still be done on paper, and many lodges do them on paper as well. But I think a lot of, at least the first contact for and of a lot of lodges is electronic in nature. So there is that. A real man, Bret the Hitman Hart. All right, so let's start with Pink Shirt Day. I just want to go and start with so Pink Shirt Day is February 26th, 2025. That's today. Pink Shirt Day began in 2007 when a student in Nova Scotia was bullied for wearing a pink shirt to school. It has since been recognized annually worldwide as a day to stand against bullying. So, Spirit mentioned before that when he was younger, he was bullied for wearing a pink shirt. Well, that's how it started, right? It started because in Nova Scotia, in Canada, a child was bullied for wearing a pink shirt. So the next day, everybody in the school showed up in pink as a way to support the victim of the bullying. So you can go to pinkshirtday.ca to learn more about it in particular. So I'll go through it one more time. Movement celebrated across the globe, Pink Shirt Day has humble beginnings. Inspired by an act of kindness in small town Nova Scotia, um, the different groups in Nova Scotia were inspired to raise funds to support anti-bullying programs. Here's a snippet of an article detailing the original incident. A group of teenage friends organized a high school protest to wear pink in sympathy with a grade 9 boy who was being bullied for wearing a pink shirt. They took a stand against bullying when they protested against the harassment of a new grade 9 student by distributing pink t-shirts to all the boys in their school. It began when a group of teens went to a discount store and bought 50 pink tank tops. They sent out a message to schoolmates that night, and the next morning they hauled the shirts to school in a plastic bag. As they stood in the foyer handing out the shirts, the bullied boy walked in. His face spoke volumes. The bullies were never heard from again. After this act of kindness in 2007, many groups were inspired to help other youth affected by bullying, with many staff members wearing pink shirts and collecting funds to support boys and girls clubs. Since then, the idea has grown each year with worldwide support and participation. Countries across the globe are now organizing anti-bullying fundraisers of their own, including Japan, New Zealand, China, Panama, and numerous others. In fact, last year, people in almost 180 countries shared their support of Pink Shirt Day through social media posts and donations. Pink Shirt Day falls on the last Wednesday of February every year. Join us so today or next year, February 26, 2026, in our mission to create a more kind, inclusive world by raising awareness and funds for anti-bullying initiatives. Rondo Ellsworth says that's dope. I agree with that. As the Pink Shirt Day movement grows each year, we not only see more and more people practicing kindness, both online and off, we are pleased to use the funds raised through official merchandise sales and donations to help hundreds of kids affected by bullying. Since 2008, net proceeds of over $3 million have been distributed to support youth anti-bullying programs throughout Canada. I actually found some fact sheets. Bullying is getting worse every day. It's so sad that kids have to endure such emotional stress during the most developmental period of their self-esteem. I agree, but I would also say it's good to see things like Pink Shirt Day and things like this, which help people potentially deal with the bullying. Let me see if. So Alberta has some really cool things, hotlines. You can go to alberta.ca/bullying chat if you want to potentially talk about any bullying that you're experiencing. In terms of, there is a Twitter page or an X page. And interesting enough, a lot of people are posting about Pink Shirt Day. I'm just going to see if I can find a few examples of some maybe Masonic posts. And actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll switch the poll question to have you experienced bullying in your life? Everybody has, I suspect. There's don't say in your life have you experienced bullying. I wonder if, I'm just going to check. So I'm curious if any Freemasons have posted anything about Pink Shirt Day. So nothing on Twitter, but that doesn't mean it's not there. I'm guessing actually there's more on Blue Sky. Blue Sky seems like the type of place that this would be more. York Regional Police having celebrating Pink Shirt Day or observing Pink Shirt Day. Nurses at the Janeway perioperative program celebrating Pink Shirt Day, sharing the message hashtag be kind, which I think is a very valuable hashtag. Hashtag be kind indeed. Surrey schools, let kindness grow. Today is Pink Shirt Day, a day dedicated to raising awareness about bullying, an issue that impacts 1 in 5 children. This year's t-shirt design is all about cultivating a community of kindness. How will you be kind today? That's a better question to ask, maybe. How will we be kind today? And how can Freemasons be kind? Obviously, I think one of the best ways Freemasons can support Pink Shirt Day is by posting something about Pink Shirt Day, either on behalf of the lodge, if they're the webmaster, or just themselves, and taking a moment to say be kind. But also, because there's different ways to bully, different types of bullying, right? There's bullying, active bullying, which is being a jerk to somebody, physically or otherwise, or just being a jerk. There's also ignoring people who may be having problems. So if there's somebody in your lodge that you haven't heard from in a while, who seems down, who seems sad, maybe take a moment to contact him, to be kind to him, to see if he's doing okay or doing well. Invite him for coffee. If the lodge is meeting today, maybe you could do a thing where everybody wears pink ties. Like if you're in a lodge that has a dress code, suit and tie, something like that, maybe the lodge could go out and purchase some ties that are pink for really cheap and give everybody a pink tie to wear, or give everybody a pink shirt to wear with their suit. Or you could request dispensation, if you're part of a lodge that has a dress code, to request that one day you don't have to wear a suit and tie, but instead get to wear something pink in honor of, again, Pink Shirt Day, right? And so there's a lot of different options that they could do. And if you are part of a lodge that doesn't have a dress code, which many Masonic bodies and lodges don't, actually dress code is more the exception, maybe you could contact your lodge members and ask them to wear something pink for the meeting. And then on top of that, because it doesn't just matter what you do, you have to share it, you could potentially share, what was I going to say? What's the word? You could take a picture and then share the picture on your social media, or if not on your social media, in your summons that goes to the membership, so the members can see it and get the chance to know what's going on, right? You could do a presentation in your Masonic lodge about bullying, about how it affects people, the numbers, or you could even make a donation to the various groups affiliated with Pink Shirt Day. Probably the most ubiquitous or prolific one would be the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, and Canada, which is associated with Pink Shirt Day. So you could, as a lodge, potentially make a donation to those organizations. If you have any ideas about how you think your lodge could support Pink Shirt Day or support anti-bullying efforts, let me know what your thoughts might be. But those are some of mine. To go through them one more time, I would say, first, post something on social media. Use the hashtag be kind as yourself a Freemason or on behalf of your Masonic lodge. You could include something in your summons about Pink Shirt Day, and maybe including even comments about bullying and what it is. You could wear something pink to lodge if your lodge day falls in or around Pink Shirt Day. If you have dress codes, maybe request dispensation to get to wear something pink, like a pink t-shirt instead of your normal suit and tie. If there's no dress code, just wear something pink to lodge. And you could make a donation in terms of Boys and Girls Club, for example. Sometimes bullying is good. People nowadays are so weak-minded with no self-esteem. We have to cater to them. I'm not saying it's okay, but that's my 2 cents. Yeah, I get the argument that you're making, Tomac, though personally, I don't agree. Well, so it depends on what your definition of bullying is. Um, so big guy picking on little dude in whatever way it is. It could be actually physically, attacking him, or it could be just insulting him or just being rude to him, or actually I was watching Dave Chappelle comedy actually just a week ago, and he told this story in one of his specials about when he was a new comic starting out. He told a joke on stage, and this other comedian liked the joke, and the other comedian started telling it instead. And Dave Chappelle said, I'd like that joke back. I want to tell it myself. And the other comic, who was a lot bigger than him, just stood up and said to Dave Chappelle, "Well, I'm just going to take it." The implication being, what are you going to do to stop me? I'm a lot bigger than you, and if I so desire, I could just beat you up, and there's nothing you could do to stop it, right? So little guy picking on big guy in any way, shape, or form, right? I hate that, and I hate that type of bullying. There is a difference between bullying and either coaching. So, for example, if you're a coach of a whatever it is, wrestling school, soccer team, football team, there are times you might have to yell, there are times you might have to scream, there are times you might have to get in somebody's face and, you know, insult them or whatever it is. That isn't bullying. That's just coaching. I don't, think that's bullying. Also, there are times when part of dealing with a bully is learning how to stand up for yourself, or it gives other people a chance to stand up for you, like Pink Shirt Day, where this new kid was being made fun of for wearing a pink shirt. So everybody who saw that went out and bought pink shirts themselves, and that gives the chance to make the kid feel better. So, a silver lining or a good thing can come out of bullying, but it's rare. I mean, I remember when I was in school, this was years ago, years ago. This was in junior high, so grade 7 through 9. I think it was in grade 7. There was this kid. He was like chubby. He had glasses. He was, he was a, he was just an awkward kid, and he was kind of a jerk, in fairness. But I remember at one point we were all outside, and these bigger kids basically just grabbed him and threw him in a trash can, and then wouldn't let him out of the trash can. And everybody else just kind of sat around and watched and didn't really do anything, including me. And I've always kind of regretted that and wished I'd stood up for him or wish I'd said something at the time. So I suppose we were talking about forgiveness earlier in the stream. I guess me being me, or it came up, I guess, I don't even remember. I think the kid's name was like, I don't remember the kid's name. But I guess what I would say is I would request forgiveness from that kid for not saying or doing anything, because I kind of wish I had at the time. I've been spat on, called names, and assaulted. So resulted in bullying the bullies back, which, I mean, you got to be able to stand up for yourself. You got to learn to stand up for yourself as well, as much as you can. Hopefully, though, other people around you see it and also stand up on your behalf. Um, and again, you hope to get to a point where people aren't being spit on or assaulted, right? I mean, I've always believed the world is pretty tough anyways. Like, somebody once gave this really good example, and I really liked it. They said, if I tell you that in 3 weeks you're going to get kicked in the balls really hard, are you then going to spend every day in the next 3 weeks, asking somebody to kick you in the balls? Like, the world is going to suck no matter what, but that doesn't mean we have to make it suck as well to each other, right? We should try to, I think, be kind to each other. And I get the idea of kids are soft and kids are weak, and it's okay to bully them. But I personally, there's a difference between a coach teaching discipline or a teacher disciplining a student, or even, kind of two people of equal size and equal strength or friends getting into a fight or whatever it is. I think that stuff is fine. That stuff happens. Bigger guys picking on weaker guys, or bigger guys making fun of weaker guys, that's never okay. And I don't see how it makes the world better. And hopefully, if the one silver lining from it is, hopefully it will cause the weaker guys to, stand up for themselves, or other people to develop empathy for them and stand up for them themselves. You don't tolerate ruffians. That's true. The world is a harsh place, but let's not make it harsher if we can help it. Brandon Wren, verbal abuse is more hurtful. No, I agree with that 100%. Verbal abuse is and can be incredibly hurtful. It can also absolutely snowball effect and cause people to emotionally close down, because if one person is making fun of somebody, then other people will. It's also can be a very, very subtle but dangerous way to try to for weaker people, quote unquote, to try to get in with the cool kids in a dangerous way. So what happens is the cool kids, quote unquote, cool adults, even that was in the adult world, are over here making fun of somebody. Maybe they're making fun of somebody who's trans, or making fun of somebody who's gay, or making fun of somebody who's short, or making whatever it is, right? They're making fun of somebody. And if I'm watching this take place, maybe I start to show that I'm cool or that I'm awesome. I start to make fun of that person as well, hoping the cool kids see me making fun of the same person, and now I get to be friends with them as well, and I get to be part of the cool group, right? One of the ways that people try to ingratiate themselves with the powerful people or the cool people is by bullying the weaker people, or by bullying people they perceive to be weak. Actually, I watched a movie called The Divide, which is a very interesting kind of movie. It's a dark movie, but you see this happening. The Divide is about there's basically a nuclear war takes place, and a bunch of people get trapped in a fallout shelter together. Um, and you have like 10 people, basically strangers, trapped together in a fallout shelter. Two of the men are kind of physically the strongest and the biggest. They're also pretty unstable. They start, though, to make fun of other people in the bunker and make these little jokes and digs. And another one of the characters, who's a smaller dude, he's kind of weaker in stature. He seems like mentally weak a little bit. Whenever the two big guys would make fun of somebody that wasn't him, he would laugh with them, and he would kind of join in their laughter and join in the insults as a way to try and ingratiate himself with those other two and show that he's one of the cool ones. And maybe if I join making fun of the women, they're not going to make fun of me as much, or they're going to view me as one of them. It doesn't work. They end up, because it never does work. It's rare that it actually works the way you want it to. You usually still end up being on the receiving end of it, which he was, but he kind of tried to get himself in that way. And then, as Brenda was saying, then you have the entire class laughing at a kid just because the others are laughing too. Yeah, no, that happens. And again, everybody wants to be on the inside of the group. No one wants to be on the outside of the group. So if you are on the inside of the group, or the best way to get yourself on the inside is figure out who's being targeted, figure out who's being made fun of, and join in the targeting and join in the being made fun of. That happens often, but not always. I mean, Pink Shirt Day is a great example of that not happening, where a kid was being bullied and made fun of. It was new to the school too. So imagine that you're brand new to the school. It's the first time in, and immediately a couple bullies are making fun of you for wearing a pink shirt. How is that going to make you feel? right? And but then the next day to come to school and see everybody else in the school wearing a pink shirt in a show of solidarity, um, I think that indicates and demonstrates that it doesn't have to be that way. Bullying never ends well. It never does. I mean, sometimes it ends very badly, but I think, it certainly never ends well for the bullies. To the people who are, to the bullied, I think it is possible for them to grow a level of strength and resilience from it. But, a bully typically is not doing the type of life they lead, I think, is not the best, right? It's a certain type of attitude that they have that throughout history they're not going to be happy, right? They may view themselves as great, but they're not going to view the world as great or the people as great, and bitterness and anger and all that. Yeah, when I would get made fun of, I laughed it off with them like it was a joke when inside it was making me shyer. No, that happens all the time, right? And again, it's who is telling the jokes, and because I'm not opposed to, again, if I'm if I know you, if I'm your friend, if I know where you're coming from and you make fun of me for wearing a pink shirt, like that's fine. But I know you and you're my friend, right? If I don't know you, I've never met you before, or I know you don't like me, or I know you don't consider me a friend, and you're making fun of me for wearing a pink shirt, or whatever it is, for having no legs, it's different, right? It's like, I need to know who you are, what your intentions are, and so, right? And if you're not a friend, again, I can tell, I think people can tell when something is being said out of, a genuine, some people can, out of a genuine desire as like a joke and nothing's meant by it and it's meant as a way to maybe josh somebody versus out of a desire to hurt or humiliate or insult, right? And then to just pass it off after as, well, I was just joking. It's like, were you or did you mean something by it, right? But again, Freemasonry provides an opportunity to potentially push back against these things by showing a place where everybody is respected, where, people get along with each other, where people aren't bullied based on their religious beliefs or political beliefs or gay or straight or whatever it might be, right? It shows unity and support. And again, because Freemasons can joke with each other all the time and do, but it's done so with a level of respect and kindness, or it should be, anyways, right? Um, Bullying could possibly end up to violence later in life. It can, I think, and again, it's really unfortunate if and when that happens, right? And again, there's ways to, know, what's interesting about being the bully is that when I was younger, I found out certain information about a bully that actually gave me a level of empathy for a situation. It ended up disarming him. And that's a really good way to put it as well. Yeah, certainly, if you don't, the bullies may have issues in their home life, may have issues in their personal life, whatever it might be that is causing them to act out that way. And that is going to give you a certain level of empathy for the situation and potentially disarming him. I mean, killing people with kindness is a real thing. I'm not saying it works all the time. There are some times when maybe there's going to be a fight and there's nothing you can do about it. There's going to be violence, or you just got to stand up for yourself. But in my experience, oftentimes kindness can be a kindness and empathy can disarm many situations. Not every situation by any means. There's no one-stop solution for any of this stuff, right? But I think there can be examples of empathy and kindness being a solution. Hopefully, that is the solution more and more. I mean, virtue is a Masonic attribute, and again, being virtuous to even, I mean, what is it? What was it that we talked about earlier in the stream, right? The Christian idea of loving your enemy. Well, maybe that means loving your bully in some cases. That doesn't mean just accepting the bullying. You still got to stand up for yourself, but you can hopefully do so in a manner of love. But I think for me, what makes Pink Shirt Day so important is it's not about, how do I put this? I'm trying to think the right way to say this. And again, why I think it's so important for Freemasonry. It's not about the bully. It's not about the bullying or the bullier. It's not about the bully. It's not about the victim or the bullied. It's about everybody around the situation. Because again, how did Pink Shirt Day start? It started because somebody was, a new kid in a school in Nova Scotia was being bullied. Other people, bystanders, saw what happened, and he was being bullied because he wore a pink shirt. The people around him saw what happened, and the next day they all showed up together in school wearing a pink shirt in solidarity with the victim, which stopped the bullying. So for me, it's not about necessarily what makes Pink Shirt Day so useful as a tool is it's not sending a message to the bully, and it's not even sending a message to the bullied. It's sending a message to those who witness bullying and saying to them, hey, if you see somebody being bullied, there are things you can do to try and make that, to try and address that situation, to make the victim feel better, to approach the bully. And again, going back to what I talked about when I was a kid, maybe if when I saw the little guy be be dumped into a trash can around everybody, and everybody just laughed and no one did anything to help him, even when they wouldn't let him out of the trash can. Maybe if more people had stood up to the bullies, or stood up, or if anybody had stood up for him against the bullies, or had said or done something, maybe that the victim would have felt better, or ended up being able to have potentially a better life of some sort, because he was not a particularly happy kid or did not do well in school. But then again, how well are you going to do in school if on the break bigger kids are throwing you in a trash can and not letting you out, right? I think they actually made him kiss the trash can too. Pink Shirt Day is a way to be intolerant of ruffians. There you go. Absolutely, that's a good way to put it. Kingpin. What's the difference between bullying and hazing? I don't know if there is necessarily. Welcome back, Kingpin. By the way, please hit the like and subscribe button. I mean, to me, I would say really it comes down to intent for almost all this stuff, right? And people are smart to recognize and understand intent. So if I'm the new guy, right? If I'm the new guy at the school and I don't know anybody, and I come in and somebody comes up to me and says like you can tell what the intention is. So if somebody comes up to me and I'm wearing a pink shirt and pushes me in a locker and says nice pink shirt and then uses the F word on me, like that's bullying, clearly. I don't think that's good-natured anything. But if somebody, comes up to me and says like, first day here and you're wearing a pink shirt, you must have a lot of confidence, or something like that. And kind of joshes me with the pink shirt, but in a way that I can recognize and understand. He's not doing it to pick on me or to show off. He's just doing it as like a hazing, like a welcome to the new school kid kind of thing. So I think it's just the intention that it's done with, right? And a lot of people will say, I wasn't bullying, it was just hazing. But if it was just hazing, I think people should be able to recognize that. And certainly the people around the situation should be able to recognize that. Because, again, what Pink Shirt Day is, it's not for the bully or the bullied, it's for the people around the situation. So clearly in this case at the school, the kids who saw what happened didn't view it as like legitimate hazing or kind of a welcome to the school. They viewed it as bullying and they responded. Maybe that kid, if you had asked him, would have said like, would have said something to the effect of like, "Oh, I was just being hazed." But again, they could recognize what was actually happening and what was going on. As a freshman in high school, I was hazed a lot, but it was by my relatives. But again, I think it sounds to me like you recognized and understood the context of it, or the intention behind it. Like when I was in grade seven, there was this thing where it never happened to me, but the freshmen, the not the freshmen, but the grade nines and tens would throw eggs at the new students on the way home. I remember a couple kids got hit by eggs, but no one like. Again, it was just the intent was clear. It wasn't nobody viewed it as being like personal or and because everybody kind of got it or everybody was at risk of getting egg. There's only so many eggs, there's only so many eggs you can throw. It wasn't considered nobody considered it bullying, but by the same token, again, in that same school, in that same year, when they threw when the big kids picked up the small kid and threw him in a trash can, it was clearly targeted at one person because he was smaller and weaker and they could do it, and so they did it. So it was clearly targeted, and it was clearly not intended as a hazing, but as a gentle hazing or as a welcome. It was clearly intended as a, we're bigger, we're stronger, we can do what we want, and we don't really care how you feel about the situation. Right? And we're going to do it to you particularly, specifically, and we're going to do it in front of a whole bunch of people who aren't going to help you as a way to show, how little you are compared to us. Yeah, at least we would come for the kids afterwards and help out the trash can. So I don't think they did. I mean, from what I recall, they just, I think they like sat on the lid of the trash can or whatever it was, and then eventually when the bell rang, we all just went back in to class. So bullying is more like throwing the eggs at the kid they thought was gay. Well, yeah. So if the hazing was, you know, for 1 week, one kid who they think is gay or whatever it is, um, you know, it's one kid gets hit with eggs every day of the week and no one else does. It's like it's pretty hard to argue that's a hazing. That's pretty much to me. I'd look at that and go like, well, they're targeting this kid for a reason of some sort. Who knows what it is? Um, when it's like everybody's at risk equally, nobody's getting hurt or nobody's going to risk damage, and if you get it, it's just if you happen to be hit with eggs walking home, then it's like they got me, right? As opposed to I know they're coming after me specifically, and no one is standing up for me at all, right? And again, with Freemasonry, again, it's this idea of there are probably a lot of Freemasons. I never asked this question directly, but I'm sure there are a lot of Freemasons who may have experienced bullying as a child and joined Freemasonry to try to find supports, or I mean, may experience bullying as an adult, try to find supports and help and people around them who care for them. So Kingpin, that's my answer, anyways. I hope that makes sense. Um, and then the other side of it's not hazing, but again, coaching. Again, I would draw a distinction between coaching and bullying. If you're a coach, you may have to yell at your players for whatever reason, or discipline your players if they're being, not cool, and that can happen. But again, the intention there to bully, isn't to bully anybody for a particular reason, or isn't to bully anybody for things outside of their control. It's to teach them the correct way to do things, to let their team, to support their team, support their work, to grow as an athlete, whatever it is. Like I was bullied as a kid, and that was just making fun of me, which really left scars from my childhood. And then I had a house toilet papered, and I think it was more a haze and not as bad. Yeah, again, were they hazing other people's houses as well? Were they hazing just your place? Like it's one of those things where it's like, and also getting your house TP'd, I think is probably less. I mean, I guess it depends for everybody, but for me, it's like I'd rather have to clean up some toilet paper than have people make fun of me, especially if I don't know them or if I don't like them or if they don't like me. Drill sergeant's a great example of that, right? The drill sergeant is not being a bully. The drill sergeant is imparting very valuable information in a way that the has been shown to work well for the army, right? Now, again, if the drill sergeant, but again, the good example I would suggest of where these things can become an issue, even in the army, and I'm not being the army myself, is Full Metal Jacket, if everybody's ever seen that, right? I think what you see there with Gomer Pyle is the issue wasn't the issue wasn't the drill sergeant, again going back to Pink Shirt Day. The issue was everybody who else was in the platoon. Who there was that scene where they what tied they held Gomer Pyle down on the bed, and everybody took a turn hitting him with a bar of soap and a sock, including the person who was supposed to be his friend, right? Did the same thing. And I mean, it kind of broke him, right? So that's an example of people around him. Again, I'm not saying people around him should have stood up for him against the drill sergeant, but what kind of necessarily did they think would happen if they did that to him? Lord of the Flies. I haven't read Lord of the Flies for so long. It's been years, but I used to always make a joke when a Masonic meeting went poorly or didn't go well. I would always say, like, it's almost like they were dancing around a stick with the head of a pig on it. So I don't remember much about Lord of the Flies. Um, but I remember liking it when I read it. It was, I guess, Stephen King's favorite book, and Stephen King is my favorite author. So in the military, they break you down and build you up. So for a reason you listed, you learn to become strong. Yeah, again, as somebody who's not been in the military, it makes sense to both break you down to build you up because that's the best way to teach somebody. But the key thing is build you up, right? If it seems like at least with that Gomer Pyle character, the they did not build him up well, at least the way it ended. Having being said that, I have no clue how often that stuff actually does happen or take place in the military. Um, yeah, again, it's been so long since I read it. I remember he went ended up because there was like two factions and groups, right? There was like the good kids and the good leader and the kind leader and then the bullies. But even with Lord of the Flies, like I think you can make an argument in terms of why Freemasonry is important because if you had some type of doesn't have to be Freemasonry, but any structure in that island with those kids, where it's like, no, we're not separate camps, we're not separate, we're part of a group, we're part of a lodge, we're part of a whatever it is, and we're all going to act with each other and according to each other, I think, and respect each other, and have worship master and all. Like it can help to smooth out some of the rougher edges that exist amongst human beings and amongst, in the case of Lord of the Flies, especially men and young men at that. But I guess the key thing is, right, Pink Shirt Day isn't, it's funny, it's not telling bullies not to bully. It's not telling the victims, not to be victims. What it's telling society is if you see somebody being bullied or if you see bullying, you can take steps to try and support the victim and to try and confront the person bullying as a way to make the world a kinder place. Because it seems like, if nothing else, here in 2025, we could probably all use a little bit more kindness. And I wish that there was more kindness in the world. And Maybe in our Masonic lodges, even, we could practice a little bit more kindness. Have you experienced bullying? 7 votes, 6 yes. I think 6 yes, 1 no. 86 yes, 14% no. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit the like and subscribe button. We are here chatting about Freemasonry. I wanted to bring up Freemasonry and Pink Shirt Day. You see, I got my pink shirt on to talk about ways in which Freemasons can potentially support efforts against bullying and promote more kindness in the world. One of the simplest ways that we could do so as Freemasons is to have our lodges or ourselves financially support groups associated with Pink Shirt Day, specifically the Boys and Girls Clubs of America and Canada, which is associated with Pink Shirt Day. And also just try to be kind ourselves, post things on social media, wear something pink to lodge. Maybe everybody wears a pink tie, or even request dispensation to have a pink shirt day in lodge, where everybody who shows up to lodge wears a pink shirt or something pink, pink hat, whatever it might be. You might need to request dispensation. In Ontario, it is super easy now with the new system to request dispensation. So maybe I would suggest you look at doing something like that. And you know what? If you've got a Mason out there who is struggling, who you think might be okay, big brothers and big sisters. I think that's what I meant. So forgive me about that. Yeah, big brothers and big sisters. So you could send a financial support to big brothers and big sisters, and make sure to, again, financially support them. Great way to support Pink Shirt Day. Wear something pink. Put something in your summons about it. Contact somebody who you think might be struggling. Because again, part of this is just about anti-bullying. Part of it is just being kind. And sometimes kindness means reaching out to somebody who might be lost. Or you feel like might be lost. Call an old friend you don't see. Call an old brother you don't see, right? There's this thing I heard where they said, or what was it? They talked about how, like, oh, I can't think of the word now. The story. So, this guy was going on a bus and he thought he paid his full fare, but he ended up paying 25 cents less than he thought, or he found out he still had a quarter in his pocket. So when he got off the bus, he paid the quarter, and he was wearing a Masonic shirt or whatever it is. And the bus driver said, it was just a quarter, you don't have to worry about it. And he said, yeah, but I'm a Freemason. If you realize that I didn't pay my full fare, you may think less of Freemasons. And I think when it comes to stuff like this, like, if you're reaching out to somebody who you think might be struggling, if you're reaching out to somebody you think might be being bullied as a child or an adult to support them, or if you're confronting bullies, people will see that. And if they know you're a Freemason, they may be more likely to have positive views of Freemasonry. If the big brothers and big sisters, if a Masonic lodge sends a donation into big brothers and big sisters from, let's say, Harmony Lodge, well, now big brothers and big sisters knows what Freemasonry is all about. And why it matters and why it's important. I've said this a million times, right? I can't convince you that Freemasonry is good, but I can convince you that I'm good. One of the ways I can try to convince you that I'm good is by trying to be kind to the people around me and to spread kindness. Big brothers and big sisters essentially volunteer time for first of all, good for you, Kingpin, for being a big brother. That is awesome. They do a lot of great work, I know. And like I said, one thing a lodge can do for Pink Shirt Day is support big brothers and big sisters. Because again, if you don't have siblings and you're dealing with, even if you aren't dealing with anything, right? But if you don't have siblings and you're dealing with bullying and you don't have like an older brother, maybe you're a single parent who doesn't have a lot of time, whatever it is, I mean, all that stuff, having a big brother there with you is going to be, I'm sure, incredibly helpful. So good on you, Kingpin. I know actually some Masonic lodges in the past have donated to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. So round of applause for you for that. Hazing was common among sports teams, but not anymore. It is now frowned upon. Yeah, again, I think probably for the best. Um, probably, probably for the best, I would say. Um, Again, I understand we talked about it above, right? There is an element of targeting and intention and being able to recognize what the intentions of people are when they're doing these things. I think that is incredibly vital and incredibly important. Um, but yeah, so in terms of things we've got happening otherwise, I do want to mention if you are here in Windsor or Essex County or even, Chatham, March 2nd, we're going to have a very special day at St. John's Anglican Church, 10:30, so celebrating a very good brother. So hopefully you can make it out to that. Um, Contact me for more information. And otherwise, though, let me know how it is you guys are doing and what it is that you guys want to chat about. So that was, I think, the topic for the day. Um, Pink Shirt Day. Not too late to wear pink if you've done so yet. And now we're back to if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas about Freemasonry, positive, negative, jump in the chat. Let me know what they might be, what your thoughts are. And we'll get a bit more time. And tomorrow, also let me know other things that you may want to talk about. Other maybe comments or questions or ideas you've had about Freemasonry. Um, Anything else in relation to that? I would love to know. And we'll just give it a bit more time. We'll see who else jumps on, says hello. Right now I'm in the midst of, I don't know if anybody else who are Masons have this problem, but trying to fix my fix my inbox because it is packed. I don't think so. Two female Grand Lodges. There's the Order of Women Freemasons. That's the one I know of for sure. There's Eastern Star. But that is so maybe that's the two you're thinking of. I read about this 11-year-old girl in Texas. She killed herself because she was bullied about ICE. They kept threatening to call ICE on her parents to get them deported. Bullying sucks. Yeah, and that does suck, 100%. Somebody actually brought that up to me recently and told me about it, and I believe it. 100% happened. I believe those type of things can happen very easily. I think it's very easy to underestimate or underappreciate just how harmful bullying can be. And I mean, yeah, if you're 11 years old and a bunch of students at your school are saying they're going to call ICE to deport you or deport your parents, like what is that going to do to you as a child, right? How much is that going to scare you? And especially the other thing to keep in mind with all this, right, is that it, bullying in 24, I believe it. No, I'll look it up. In 2025, like it's really, really hard to get just away from bullying because it's on your phone, it's on your social media, people can text you. Back in the day, in theory, you could like, yeah, school might suck, but you can always go home after and in theory, hopefully get away from it. Now you might be getting messages, you might see it on social media, so like I think that adds to it a lot as well. And it's going to add to making things so challenging and difficult and scary. Um, Let me see. I'm just going to go and look up that news story in just 1 second because it has come up a couple times. So it might be worth, like I said, I will check it out. Just give me 1 second. All right, let's see. People.com, CBS News, CNN. Looks like it was 6 days ago. I'll use CNN. An 11-year-old girl in Texas died by suicide after she was bullied about her family's immigration status. Um, Her mother says, I don't know if America has a co-masonry Grand Lodge. They could. I have to look into that. I mean, I know co-masonry is obviously very big in France. Um, and I think other places in Europe, right? The Order of Women Freemasons, who I have had on the podcast, they exist in London and Ontario, in England as well as Ontario. And then there's Eastern Star, obviously. I will. Co-masonry is one of those things when it comes to Freemasonry. I don't know as much about which I don't know as much as I would like. So I'm hoping to be learning more about it as time goes on. A young girl's death by suicide is being investigated by school police after her mother says she was bullied by other students who hurled insults at her, claiming her family was in the U.S. illegally. 11-year-old Jocelyn Rojo Carranza died on February 8th, 5 days after her mother found her unresponsive at their home in Gainesville, Texas, according to an online obituary. Her funeral took place Wednesday morning. Nothing that could be done. Jocelyn was bullied and taunted at school over her family's immigration status, Carranza told CNN. They were going to call immigration so they could take her parents away and she would be left alone. Yeah. I've read about it out on the Masonry subreddit. I have to look into it. I don't have solid references. What is the most challenging aspect of being a Freemason in today's world? Time. 100%, Courtney, it's time. It's the time to dedicate yourself to Freemasonry when people are working longer hours, there's more dual income households, and men are also expected to be more responsible or more involved in the family life. Um, yeah, my view on co-Freemasonry is my view on kind of everything, which is plenty of sand in the sandbox. So what that means is anybody who, I have no problem, I no concern with anybody who wants to join. So if you want to be a co-Freemasonry or co-Masonry, I should say, wants to start up a thing in Canada, or Ontario or the States, then I say good for them. That doesn't mean that necessarily other Grand Lodges have to give them recognition. That's completely up to, as we talked about yesterday, every jurisdiction. That's completely up to um, each jurisdiction to decide who it does and does not want to provide recognition to for whatever reasons. They can use the Commission on Recognition and its report and the Council of Grand Masters as an advisory piece if they want, right? But they don't have to. But I think plenty of, like I said, plenty of sand in the sandbox, and I have no problem with anybody starting any group they so desire, just so long as they're clear about what the rules are as it relates to, um, what's the word I'm thinking of? As it relates to recognition and whether the body is recognized by AF and AM Freemasonry or not, etc., etc. While that would be horrible if people bullied on social media. When I was growing up, my generation, I graduated high school in 2004, but shortly after, bullied started to become an epidemic. Yeah, well, I think in 2004 there was still not as many. Social media was still in its infancy, so um, now that it's kind of growing more and more. And obviously, right, the problem with social media is at the end of the day, it's still just people. So people are people, and people can be bullies online, people can be bullies offline. It's just online social media gives people more of a chance to be bullies, unfortunately. But I hope everybody's doing well. If you're just joining us, please, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Kingpin, everybody watching this, I'm hoping if you haven't done so, you can potentially join the Square and Compass Patreon. You can join at the free membership level, or you can pay, $3 a month or whatever it is. I will be doing some special promotions specifically for Patreon in the coming month, so it'll give you guys a chance to check that out. I will leave a link to the Patreon on the chat or in the chat in just 1 second. Let me just do that now, actually. How do you balance the concept of brotherhood within Freemasonry with inclusivity and diversity? Yes, that's right. So we have talked about this before. Yeah, I mean, I guess like I said, my one best way to deal with bullying is to try my own life, and by doing things like Pink Shirt Day. And the other thing I love about Pink Shirt Day, actually, I'll say anything on Blue Sky as well, is again, I taught this before, but it's not. Because, I mean, sometimes you have to do it, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you just have to walk up to the bully and say, like, cut it out, right? And sometimes you have to go directly to the victim and say, like, it's okay and offer your support and try to help them. But sometimes it's not about going up to either of them. Sometimes it's just about the way you act and live in your own life and to what extent it is that you can help. So, again, like, by everybody wearing that pink shirt, it sent a message. So, right, there's ways you can do it. Maybe everybody could do like the I am Spartacus thing, and everybody wear a shirt that says like undocumented and unafraid or something to that extent, right? Like, sometimes it's just about, you don't have to say anything directly. It's just you have to act a certain way in your life to demonstrate to others, including both the bullies and the bullied, who you support and where your support lies. Messaging is important. The way you live your life is important. Pink Shirt Day, things like that is important. I have to go and find someone to bully. Well, I wish you best of luck, Dad. Though with your legs in the shape they are, I'm not sure you're going to find anybody to bully. Let me see if... Here, Here, let me send you that message. All right, I sent you through Blue Sky as well, patreon.com/square and compass. Um, yeah, thank you again for sharing that story. Um, and yeah, and for contacting me on Blue Sky, everybody who's watching this, by all means, follow me on social medias. Or I guess, would the plural of social media be social medias or socials media? I think it'd be socials media, right? So Blue Sky, X, Patreon, all of those good things. And if you support me on Patreon, patreon.com/square and compass, even for just $3 a month, you are entitled to correspondence and some really fun stuff. And please hit that like button. We're one like away from 10 likes, so. How do I respond to accusations that Freemasonry is a secretive society with hidden agendas? So I approach it the same way. I think I've talked about this before. I use the wrestling example, right? So there was that quote, I mentioned it, where they say, I can't convince you that I can't convince you that wrestling is real, but I can convince you that I'm real. And I take that approach when it comes to Freemasonry. I can't convince you that Freemasonry is good, but I can convince you that I'm good. And so I try to exist and live in such a way that I can convince people that I'm good. And by doing so, hopefully they will then view Freemasonry as good, or at least Freemasons as good. And then the idea of hidden agendas, I just say, I've used the example before. The example I always give is, it's not about having a hidden agenda. It's about maintaining the connections between our brotherhood. If I had a family recipe that was passed down to me from my grandfather and etc., I would not just share that with anybody. It's not about keeping it hidden. It's about maintaining that connection between generations of family. And in the same way, for Freemasonry, what we have to pass down, the only thing we have to pass down, the one thing we have to pass down is our ritual. That's the most important thing. And so because of that, it's important that it remains private so as to maintain those connections between the brotherhood. How do you balance the concept of brotherhood within Freemasonry and inclusivity and diversity? Well, I think, and this is going to sound super cheesy, I know, but I think one of the great strengths of Freemasonry is its diversity. And we are one of the few places, I believe, in society that can show others you can have a diverse group, diverse in terms of race, diverse in terms of occupation, diverse in terms of economic status, diverse in terms of religious beliefs and religious denominations, diverse in terms of political affiliations, diverse in terms of backgrounds, diverse in terms of languages spoken and the mother languages and mother tongues. You can have all of those things and still have a brotherhood. And indeed, if you include Eastern Star, Order of the Women Freemasons, and the youth groups, a brotherhood and a sisterhood. So I think that is one of the best and strongest parts of Freemasonry. I think that we show that to the world. And I think that's one of the reasons why it is so important that Freemasonry grow and be strong, because there's so few other organizations and places where that exists. And I think that's absolutely a tragedy in some ways, but it does provide an opportunity for Freemasonry to grow. How connected do you feel to other men in your lodge? Well, again, so it's going to depend on the the men itself, right? So I feel like a base connection to them all because we've all shared experiences. And I've talked about that before, why the ritual is so important in Freemasonry is because we all have those shared experiences. But then to me, the extent to which the connections grow is the amount of effort and time you put in. So I certainly feel more connected to some brothers than others. That rhymes. Based on how much time they are in lodge, how often I see them, what they do outside of lodge to support Freemasonry. Um, so it really does depend, but I try to be as connected to as many different brothers as I can. And certainly there's a baseline connection to them I have that I don't have with others because of our connections. All right. I'm at that time. It's time for bathroom break. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about my good friend Mason the Moose. So I'm going to be right back and leave the stream with my friend here. In fact, let's see if I can get a better shot of him for you guys. He's watching you guys. If you guys cause trouble, he will tell me. I promise you. So I'll be right back. Actually, while I'm gone, now is your chance. So if you want to support the podcast, go to patreon.com/square and compass. One more time, patreon.com/square and compass, and sign up for the Patreon. You can sign up to be a free member, or you can sign up at, like, say, $3 a month, and you'll get some interesting and cool perks. I'll be back in a moment. All right, I am back. I'm going to put this back this way. 7 votes. Have you experienced bullying? Looks like we're still at 6-1, I believe. 6 yeses and 1 no. Yes, I don't know if Kingpin, you're still there, but it looks like you will get a better watch. So one thing I was going to actually talk about is, and this was a suggestion somebody had for me. A few weeks ago, I don't know who was on the podcast or the stream when I talked about it, but there was I talked about one of the, um, what's it called? I can't think of it now. One of the initiatives I had when it came to Freemasonry was I organized a I asked every new member to write a letter to themselves, which would be saved and given back to them 25 years in the future, so they could get a letter from them, their 25-year younger self. Somebody got in touch with me and suggested that might make a really great mental health exercise, which would love to hope to try, because I think it's absolutely right. It might be a lot of fun to, what's the word I'm looking for, to do that as an exercise, and then maybe even if somebody's being bullied, heaven forbid, by um, by writing a letter to themselves, there's ways that they can maybe express how they're feeling and express their concerns and express their issues and whatever it is in a way that will ultimately they can find some type of peace or happiness or health from it. I thought that was a really cool idea, so I 100% want to check it out and try it. So that is on my list of things I want to try and things I want to talk about. Um, Beyond that, we're just going to give it a bit more time, see who else joins us and what else we want to talk about. As always, this is the part of the stream where it's basically just random questions. Anybody who wants to chat about anything, I hope that you guys will do so. It doesn't even have to be positive about Freemasonry. If, like I always say, you have concerns about Freemasonry or negative views on Freemasonry, then that is great as well, because hopefully I can talk to you about why I love Freemasonry and maybe get you to reconsider. And I guess on a really sad note, because I just found this out, and again, this is that part of the stream where it's just kind of us talking about whatever we want to talk about, or whatever I want to talk about until somebody else jumps in the chat. I just found out that Michelle Trachtenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I guess, passed away. She was 39 years old. And I grew up loving Buffy, Angel, and now I love Charmed as well. So I was really sad to see that. She was great as Dawn at Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel were great shows. I actually wrote about lessons from Angel, the TV show, and which is the Buffyverse show, and how I applied it to Freemasonry, which is the opportunity to fight for a better world. But I'm going to share this stream on some social media sites. We'll see if we can get some more people jumping on. The greatest thing into life is to keep your mind young. I would agree with that. There's a lot of great things in life, but I certainly would concur. And I think that's definitely one of them. Why does the moon appear larger near the... I have no idea. The Coriolis effect? I wish I could tell you, but sadly I do not know. One actually thing I'm planning on doing soon, though, also is discussions on cryptocurrency. So high altitude investing. I'm not sure if you're there watching right now, but I definitely want to. I'm going to get in touch with you soon, because I think there's a lot of valid and really fun and cool things to talk about when it comes to cryptocurrency, Freemasonry, the positives, the negatives potentially, and how we can potentially look at supporting more of the positives of it. Because I think there's probably a lot there. So I'm going to be talking to my good friend from High Altitude Investing. Trying to think of what potentially could be another great poll question to ask. Actually, since I do want to talk about, um, since I want to talk about this anyways, I'm going to switch this poll question for 1 second. Have you invested in or used cryptocurrency? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat or answer the poll. Have you invested in or used cryptocurrency? Could be Bitcoin. I think that's the most common, but it could be almost anything. So let me know in the chat if you have, and also in the poll, I should say. And if you have, what type was it? I think the two big ones are Ethereum and Ethereum and Bitcoin. My wife did invest in it personally. I haven't. Okay, maybe you can let me know what your wife thought of it, or what type, if she's comfortable, if comfortable saying. I'm really interested, and I'm really am genuinely curious about what the also Bitcoin, what the potential positives versus negatives could be when it comes to Freemasonry. Genuinely curious, and I want to learn more about it. So, um, hopefully, like I said, might be kind of fun and worth learning more about. I think, for example, could the Masonic lodges accept Bitcoin as payment for dues or for bills in general, right? Because I think the issue is it's so unstable, is that becomes where the issue is for people, right? Where you don't, if I'm paying, if my dues are $100 a year, I'm paying it with Bitcoin. That Bitcoin may be worth $100 the day I pay it, but then it might be worth $50 the next day or something like that. So I can understand why that might be a challenge. And I'm not sure what the best answer to this is. One vote for have you invested in or used cryptocurrency, and 100% yes. But thank you everybody who has joined so far. BCF is worth 10 cents in US dollars. Oh, 2 votes, 1 yes, 1 no. Welcome, if you're just joining us, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Let me know what it is that you want to talk about. I'm working on potentially some interviews coming up about cryptocurrency and Freemasonry, the risks, the potential benefits, the potential drawbacks. I'm also working on more written content for Scoring Compass Promotions, so you can follow me on there. I think actually it's interesting. The Pink Shirt Day idea kind of ties in really well to something I wrote last year called November 27th, called Thankful for the Fight, which talks about the opportunity or the importance of the opportunity to fight for a better world. Right? I love what it says here. All Freemasons have at some point been asked a version of the following question: what does Freemasonry offer? My answer came from the TV show Angel, a supernatural American television series, a spin-off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The premise of Angel is straightforward. Set in Los Angeles, a vampire cursed with the soul, the titular character, with his associates, helps the helpless, saves the souls of those who lost their way, and makes the world a better place. Or at least he tries to help the helpless and save the souls of those who have lost their way. He tries to make the world a better place. While the show's premise is straightforward, the approach is anything but. A typical approach would be the hero fights and he wins. That's what you see in Buffy and Charmed. Oh, if Trump coin was a quick jump to $70 a coin and it started off being 2 cents a coin, if I only would have bought a few when it first hit the market, but currently is down. Well, because that's the other thing, Brandon, and I don't understand it at all. The idea of like a rug pull. I don't even know exactly what a rug pull is. But in theory, like, could a Freemason have paid his dues in like one of these shit coins they're called, and then as a consequence of that, like if he had paid, so the Trump coin was a quick jump to $70 a coin. So let's say your dues are $140 US per year. And the lodge accepts this type of coin as payment. So the lodge takes two Trump coins at $70 value each. So now, in theory, the lodge has been paid its $140. It's 140. It was $140 dues by that brother. But then, if they don't do anything with the coins and the coins drop in value to basically being worth a penny, now that brother has paid 2 cents. Like, how do you assess the value of it? How does a lodge assess the value of it? Do you have to just cash it out right away? Like, I think, again, as somebody who has no idea what the answer to that is, I think it's a fascinating question. I think, look, Freemasons do have to, and I've always believed this, Freemasons do 100% have to care about and try to um, to keep up with changes in the world, whether it's cryptocurrencies or taxes or whatever the changes are, you have to kind of care about those things. I think it's important. Um, but there's also risks to doing that. I think you need to keep those in mind too. Anyways, going back to what I was saying here, Angel, the TV show, right? Talking about Pink Shirt Day, why I'm a Freemason. The audience is led to believe that the titular character will, upon saving enough souls, helping enough people, and preventing enough apocalypses, be rewarded with the same normal life. Sezu? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hi, buddy. Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here. Please, if you haven't done so, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing. If you've been here before, I don't remember if you have or not, but if this is the first time on this stream, welcome. Um, I hope that you're doing well. And like I said, please hit that like and subscribe button. And let me know what it is you want to talk about. We chat about, okay, I'll welcome from England. My dad is from England, actually. He's a Geordie. We do these streams every day, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we chat about Freemasonry. Um, so if you have any questions about Freemasonry, any comments, any thoughts, positive or negative or neutral, I'd love to hear them. Um, I was talking about actually something called Pink Shirt Day, which is an anti-bullying initiative, and how Freemasons can and should be anti-bullying and potentially support anti-bullying efforts. By the way, I speak for myself. I've been a Mason since 2007, but my views don't necessarily align with any other views. It's just me. Regarding crypto investments, I'm fully in EGLD. I have no idea what EGLD is. Um, Plenty NFTs. Elrond. Not a bad idea because the lodge can have a wealth management person to keep the crypto going, like trading with other cryptos, like buy low, sell high. Okay, but then you need somebody, I think, doing it almost full time because it changes hour to hour. So, Sizu, What would you say? Because I'm going to be talking more about cryptocurrencies and even NFTs. Um, I will. What do you think are so I guessing, you're supportive of crypto. Are you supportive of crypto because you think it's a way to build wealth? Or are you more supportive of crypto because you view it as a way to um, kind of fight against centralized monetary policy? Because it seems that some people I know are into crypto or something else completely. Because it seems like some people I know who are into crypto are doing so to build their wealth, while others seem to be doing it more as almost a middle finger, if you want to call it that, to central banks and banking and the idea of monetary policy. For me, I have no opinion on it one way or the other beyond just an interest in how cryptocurrency can affect Freemasonry, or more specifically, how Masons can potentially use cryptocurrency in its lodge. As for example, um, Brandon Wren was saying, the idea of a wealth manager to keep track of crypto and trade it and potentially make money off of it. I don't know what KYC means either. This is way out of my depth. I am doing an interview about this in the coming weeks with somebody who knows more about this stuff and how it works. So I'm just kind of gathering general information at this point. Um, have you invested in or used cryptocurrency? Two no's, one yeses. See, and even the NFT, like to me, an NFT, a non-fungible token, it doesn't seem crazy. The idea of, because I know people say like I right clicked your NFT and all that nonsense. Because there's actually a group that is trying to develop Masonic NFTs. Um, Ethereum, it's called. Not Ethereum. I can't think of the name of it now. I'm gonna have to look that up. But like I would try to purchase a Masonic NFT just to say I had it. I think it seems to me the danger with NFTs seems to be when you start to use it as a way to make money, because it seems like that's almost like gambling, where you can never know how things are going to work out with it. But the actual premise of I have this piece of property, it's a digital piece of property. Like, I'm surprised there aren't more things that are owned exclusively in a digital sphere, If that makes any sense, if what I'm saying makes any sense. I used to be very active in pre-sales, hunting good projects only. Are there ways that you could determine what a good project was versus a not so good project? And also, if you would please be so kind, Sizu, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. The more people we have liking, the more people we have subscribing, the better it is for this stream. So please like, please subscribe. I'm one like away from 10. I'm almost at double digits of the number of likes. So if you get the chance. And subscribe as always, too. Gonna give it a second for Sizu to see if he can answer and has any thoughts. Even I'd be curious to know what makes a good project. And thank you everybody who has been watching so far. It is truly appreciated. Um, I don't know, Steve, if you know about Pink Shirt Day, what it is, but that is what I was discussing. I'll go back to this. So I was talking about the idea of Pink Shirt Day, the idea of helping people, what it means, why it's important. Oh, and I loved this reveal here. This is revealed in the following exchange between the titular character Angel and one of his many foes, Holland Manners. Angel, you're not going to win. Holland Manners. Well, no, of course we aren't. We have no intention of doing anything so prosaic as winning. Then why? I'm sorry, what? Why fight? That's really a question you should be asking yourself, isn't it? See, for us, there is no fight, which is why winning doesn't even enter into it. As a corporation, we go on, no matter what. You see, Angel, our firm has always been here on Earth, in one form or another. The Spanish Inquisition, the Khmer Rouge genocide. We were here when the very first modern caveman clubbed his neighbor on the head with a rock for stealing his dinner. See, we're in the hearts and minds of every single living being on this planet. And that friend is what's making things so difficult for you. That is the source of Wolfram and Hart's power. You see, the world doesn't work in spite of evil, Angel. It works with us. It works because of us. Evil, or human weakness, or human misery, isn't fighting against good. Evil exists. The above exchange is Sisyphean. No matter how hard he works, no matter how hard he fights, Angel will never succeed in defeating evil. Or, as Pink Shirt Day, never succeed in defeating the bullies. He will never, in the bigger picture, make the world a better place. How then does Angel, the TV show, deal with this revelation? The show is telling the audience that the main character can and will never succeed in this very mission. The TV show deals with this revelation in a brilliant way. It deals with this revelation by shrinking the picture. Angel will never, in the bigger picture, make the world a better place, but in the smaller pictures, he can make one person's world better, over and over again. As Angel explains in the next episode, well, I guess I kind of worked it out. If there's no great and glorious end to all this, if nothing we do matters, then all that matters is what we do. Because that's all there is, what we do. Now, today, I fought for so long, for redemption, for reward, and finally just to beat the other guy. But I never got it. All I want to do is help. I want to help because I don't think people should suffer as they do. Because there's no bigger meaning than the smallest act of kindness is the greatest thing in the world. It's not about being rewarded. It's not about winning. It's about helping people. It's about making someone's world better today, and then making someone else's world better tomorrow, and then making someone else's world better the day after that, and then, and then, and then. In Angel, the monsters and supernatural elements act as metaphors for the everyday suffering that exists within the world. Even though this suffering can never be defeated, in the bigger picture, one can make a difference, and that difference matters. This is a theme to which Angel returns again and again. Consider this exchange from the Angel series finale. What if I told you it doesn't help? What would you do if you found out that none of it matters, that it's all controlled by forces more powerful and uncaring than we can conceive, and they will never let it get better down here? What would you do? I'd get this truck packed before the new stuff gets here. Want to give me a hand? Consider how Angel ends. Buffy and Charmed ends with the heroes being rewarded. Angel ends in an opposite but perfect way. The surviving heroes have just fought a series of monsters, find themselves in an alley, battered and bruised. While the enemy, an army, or even more monsters approach, the titular character says, let's go to work. And that's exactly what they do. They go to work. Making the world a better place is work. It's work that never ends. It's work without a reward. It's the hardest thing one can do. It's also the thing at which one is most likely to fail. So why bother? Why fight? Why try to deal with things like bullying? Why wear a pink shirt to say you don't want to see people be bullied? Why try to help those who are bullied? Because I don't think people should suffer as they do. Because if there's no bigger meaning, then the smallest act of kindness is the greatest thing in the world. Actually, this idea came up again through Jon Stewart of The Daily Show, and he said, the work of making this world resemble one you prefer to live in is a lunch pail job day in and day out, where thousands of committed, anonymous, smart, and dedicated people, including Freemasons, bang on closed doors and pick up those that are fallen and grind away on issues till they get a positive result, and even then have to stay on to make sure that result holds. Fighting to ensure one person suffers less is the greatest thing in the world. And so I think that goes on to this idea of we'll never be able to, unfortunately or fortunately, pick your term, we'll never be able to completely eradicate bullying. We'll never be able to get people to act necessarily the way we would want them to act towards each other. But we can at least try in different small ways to make the world a better place. Global cryptocurrency can be easily transferred across borders, facilitate international donations. It can, and that's a very good point. You know, if we do have to exchange money between lodges, does it make sense to do it through cryptocurrencies, which you don't have to deal with transaction fees, things like that? I think that's worth discussing. I agree, Courtney, that is a very good idea. Or a brilliant idea. Um, yeah, it's tough to, again, my concern, and I know Brandon was talking about this a little bit, is this idea of like just the volatility of it really does scare me a little bit. And not necessarily sure the best way to potentially, I'm going to get this sorted out. Give me 1 second to potentially deal with that in a positive way, or to deal with that in a safe way, I should say, in a way that will ensure that people, we have all the benefits of cryptocurrency, but try to as much as we can limit the risks. I know what you were saying about the wealth management, Brandon, but my concern with wealth management is, again, who does it? Because you need like somebody full time to do it. But many lodges do have accounts with banks. Maybe the bank would be willing to do it, or have somebody who could do it, or you could hire like a wealth manager to keep track of your crypto investments, but they would take a percentage, I'm assuming, of it, if that makes sense, if I'm correct about that. Technical complexity. Not all members might be comfortable with the technical aspects of managing cryptocurrency wallets and transactions. Absolutely. And I think that would be my main concern with it, Courtney. One of my main concerns. Again, I feel like you would almost need a professional or someone at the professional level to um, um, how do you make sure that you're dealing with the technical aspects in a way that helps that the members can do, that doesn't take too much time or effort from the members, right? And so I think, Courtney, you're absolutely right. That is the challenge. Um, but there are ways to, I think there are probably ways to manage it, but it's worth examining more. So welcome, if everybody's just going to be joining us. Well, the main ones are stabilized, so there's more confidence in the value, but the smaller ones are risks. But again, I'm assuming um, that what you could do is, I mean, maybe it wouldn't even be worth a Masonic Lodge to hire somebody professional to be a wealth manager, and they would just take a cut of the successful investments. It's kind of like what I talked about when I talked about the junior warden's position and suggested lodges may want to look at hiring professional chefs to act as junior wardens. Yes, it will cost a bit of money, but the return you get is you don't, instead of relying on a junior warden who's busy with everything else in their life, can actually focus on um, the lodge itself and their family, and that there'll be a professional chef there preparing food for everybody. Because junior wardens, 25 to 30 people per meeting, that's a lot to expect on somebody, especially if they have family, work, etc. So again, most every lodge should have a treasurer to deal with the treasury side of things, but I don't think you could expect him to have the expertise or the time to necessarily deal with crypto. But if you hire somebody, you're making money, they get a percentage, it still may be better than the alternatives. Worth, I think, worth discussing. Well, the big ones that do foreign exchange. Okay. Yeah, it's still something I know very little about, but the bank offers wealth management programs. They take care of everything for you. It'd be really worth checking that out. I think it'd be really, really cool and fun to. Like I said, this I'm going to be talking more actually with friend of the channel, High Altitude Investing, where he can talk to me more about that, what it is, how it works, all that good stuff. Um, so I'm looking forward to. I'll read it later. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be following this. In the meantime, jump on the chat, say hello. I'm here just chatting about Freemasonry, my favorite thing to chat about. We talked today about Pink Shirt Day, which has been excellent. And I appreciate all the comments on that. Potentially the ideas as to how we can avoid or be an anti-bullying group or encourage anti-bullying works. Beyond that, we're just hanging out here waiting for see if anybody else jumps on the chat and wants to say hello. And then we're going to probably finish this one off soon. And then we'll go on to another stream tomorrow, 1 p.m., where we'll be talking about more fun stuff again. And don't forget, if you're just joining us, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let me know what it is that you want to talk about. Like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, international banks, I mean. What about in Canada? Do you know if the banks in Canada, like CIBC, TD, do they offer the same thing? Do they offer that kind of wealth management? Because again, it's somebody who knows very, very little about it. But again, check us back out. Make sure to come to our different streams because tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but I will be this week talking to High Altitude Investing about cryptocurrency, potential benefits, drawbacks, challenges to Freemasonry, and how potentially Freemasons can and should be checking some of these things out and how they may be useful to the craft. Four votes. Have you invested in or used cryptocurrency? Three no's, one yes. So that's very interesting. I'm just going to give it a bit more time. Just going to see if anybody else jumps on the chat, jumps on the stream, um, and says hello and has anything I want to chat about. We chat about Freemasonry here. So um, right now we're talking about Freemasonry and cryptocurrency and the potential benefits of cryptocurrency to Freemasonry. We were talking earlier about Pink Shirt Day and how Freemasonry can support anti-bullying efforts. So yeah, we're hanging out though. This is that part of the stream where I'm just waiting for people to jump on the chat, say hello, and let me know what they want to talk about. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure it's independent wealth management agencies that just specialize in that kind of stuff. Yeah, because every Masonic lodge, well, I shouldn't say every, but in Canada, I feel like almost every Masonic lodge should have uh, their assets, their money, their investments in and with some type of bank. What is my lodge's most successful fundraisers? That's a question. My lodges, we really don't do a ton of fundraisers, to be honest. The biggest fundraising effort I did was organizing grant applications for my Masonic building, which was very challenging, but also a lot of fun. But yeah, I would say the grant applications that I did, which I really enjoyed. Um, Again, it was challenging, it was hard work, but there was a lot of success in those as well. So I would say grant applications would be my most successful. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing and let me know if there's anything that you guys want to chat about. We do these streams every day, 1 p.m. Eastern, to chat about Freemasonry. We were talking about Freemasonry and Pink Shirt Day. Before that we talked about just general questions. We've talked about questions we have about Freemasonry. Now we're talking about Freemasonry and cryptocurrency and potential opportunities as well as challenges related to the same. So please hit that like and subscribe button. I've also talked a lot about my Patreon account where you can go and support Scoring Covers promotions there. Welcome. If you're just joining us, please hit that like and subscribe button. A lot of these are only Bitcoins. See, I don't know if they need to. I don't know if I'd say they need to. I do think, though, there is a lot of opportunities and benefits to doing so, but I wouldn't say they need to. What I would say is, um, what's the word I'm thinking of or looking for? I think they need to be very careful and make sure that if they are going to invest in cryptocurrency, they do so while understanding and recognizing that there could be some potential challenges or dangers to doing that. Start holding. Well, I'm not going to say people have to. I'm going to say lodges should consider it and look into it, and maybe check out my interview coming out with High Altitude Investing pretty soon, where we'll be talking about that and where it might be of benefit to people. All right. But I think I am going to call this stream today. It's been a great one. Tomorrow, another stream, 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for everybody who has tuned in today. Uh, just reminders, we do have a lot of other things happening. On Sunday, we have got 6 p.m. Eastern, another interview being released. This Thursday, Friday, we've got two more live streams, 1 p.m. Eastern, both times. Saturday around 10 p.m. on my personal channel, I'm going to do a live stream as well, watching another scary movie, and you can join for that. It's going to be Requiem for a Dream, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So please, please take a moment, join us for those. I'll be leaving the links in the descriptions. Um, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, share, etc., etc. Answer our questions. And thank you for all of the support. Unless I do feel like there are some more people joining, so I'll give it 1 minute. Anybody wants to chat about Freemasonry, by all means, jump in the chat, say hello, let me know, is there anything that you want to talk about? All right, I think we're going to call this one then. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to everybody later.